welcome to the house. The one they talking about, word of mouth. The Boxing Playhouse, without a doubt. All the latest and greatest boxing news, that's what it's all about.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Boxing Playhouse. And of course, I have a great fighter segment coming this particular night. I'm interested, I'm happy, and I'm enthusiastic about our next guest. And basically, it's so important of a topic that I have to say welcome to both of these guys, and that I'm gonna be, just pushing forward with the concept that, when you know better, you can do better. We're gonna first Hassan Asad with us today. And of course, he has his own boxing and fighter gear, athletes in general gear. It's called Instinct Fighting Gear. And we want to welcome you to the show, Hassan. How are you doing?
Pretty good. How about yourself? Thank you everyone for having me here. It's a pleasure.
Absolutely. I appreciate you so much. And I also have your brand ambassador for fighting gear and or instinct fighting gear. I'm sorry. That's going to be Alex Ramon. How are you doing?
Good. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Oh, anytime, anytime. I mean, I saw you on the website looking all sexy and everything. You had your gear athleticism going on. I said, interested. But then Hassan was actually telling me about your ability to research and, all of the different facets that you bring to the table as a brand ambassador. So we definitely want to appreciate you for being with us today, too.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You got to have more than a gorgeous face. I've learned the hard way.
Yes, you do. Don't pay the bill.
Hassan, I first met you at the WBA convention last December, and we just got to talk to you about some of the fighter safety segments that I like to do in boxing to try to, prevent certain incidents and things from happening. And so that's why I was interested in bringing you on the show to talk about your amazing product in which you can customize. And as a boxer or a fighter, you have options that can reinforce a little bit in the products you sell. Can you tell us just a little overview about what made you start this company and what exactly it is that you want to achieve in the next 5 years? Probably.
That's right, absolutely. So I'm gonna start with Instinct Fighting Gear itself. So of course, my name is Hassan. I am the sales director for Instinct Fighting Gear. We're a new brand that seeks further development of combat sports equipment throughout various martial arts. So what we specialize in mainly is taking, I would say, what is the best qualities of existing products and gear, and we seek to implement those new qualities and technologies within our own gear in new ways. So we seek to basically develop whatever gear that you're normally seeing, in the industry. We tend to take it up a notch a little bit and make it easier for everyone to have access to it and make sure that it's safe to use. And of course, we were talking about this last week. Well, the subject of fighter safety, we've had lots of incidents. I'm sure Alex already knows too. We get so many incidents when we hear, certain athletes going through certain health conditions, medical conditions, just due to the nature of the sport. And we
Mm,
seek to do our best to minimize those injuries.
okay. I mean, I really love it, and I know that you're using some cutting edge technology to be able to bring this product to. And what other athletes are you guys doing gear for, as well as the combat sports? Is there any other genre of boxing that you guys are, or not boxing, but athlete sports that you're dealing with?
Yes, absolutely. So, when it comes to our manufacturing, we specialize in boxing, kickboxing, Muay Thai, MMA, just about every combat sport you can think of. And we also work with athletes from those respectable sports as well. So,
Also, jujitsu.
Also jiu-jitsu as well. That's right, Brazilian jiu-jitsu. We cover just about every martial art you can think of. And you
Okay.
know, the development extends for these products across all of the sports as well. So we place an emphasis on basically just about every sport that's in right now.
I know, and I like the bare knuckle boxing too. I forgot to say them because
Whoa.
I mean they definitely, yeah, I'm into them too. Like, man, I was at one fight in Mississippi, and this is out, right? This was before they even got sanctioned to fight in Florida. And, we're watching the fight right ringside because we were there as media. And this guy's teeth rolled over on our side of the canvas.
Yep.
I was like, oh my God. And then we were like sprayed, like our outfits all had blood on them, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh
it was all
yeah.
sprayed with it. I was like, whoa, this is like gladiators, this is like gladiator sport for real.
It's as
But
real as it gets right there.
yes, and then I was there for the Paulie Malignaggi fight when he fought Autumn LeBar, and a lot of his knuckles were broken in that fight. Like he had like some serious hand injuries afterwards because
Yeah.
you just can't punch where you normally would punch as a boxer because you don't
Yep.
have that protection.
Two different punching methods, right? When you
Mm,
punching with and without gloves, it's two different methods. Just like, for example, Floyd Mayweather, right? One of the best boxers of all time, had brittle hands,
mm,
and
yeah.
once he did enough damage to his hands, you could see his offense was never quite the same because he had to take care of his hands from that point on. I think
Hmm.
that's a
Absolutely, yeah.
big thing that a lot of people don't talk about with Floyd, that he gets a lot of criticism for later on his career for, not being the offensive fighter that he was when he was younger. But a big part of that is people don't realize he was protecting his hands.
Yes, he did have quite a bit of hand injuries through his career, and I know it takes a toll on you after a while. Now, just saying that about hand injuries, of course, part of your gear is the gloves, and it's my understanding historically that the glove was not invented to prevent a brain injury of your opponent, but it was initially to protect your hands, your hands. And, I don't know how the development goes. I don't know if Alex, you can give us a little bit more detail on exactly how, you're protecting the hands, but now you're also focusing on preventing CTE injuries that might occur too.
Right. So, like you said, the glove's not necessarily intended to prevent, like, the CTE and the injuries. The glove is made to protect the hand. It's made to protect the user. So that being said, yeah, so a punching form is something that a lot of people I think need to be taught. I think that's the
Mm,
main key to really protecting your wrists and stacking your hands. People got to learn how to stack their hands properly. I think that a lot of coaches should emphasize that before they just slap gloves on their students and tell them to go crazy on the bag. You know, I think that the first piece of, especially when it comes to protecting hands, you need to teach proper punching form. And then from there, what the gear is really made for is, and I tell people this all the time because I have a lot of people, they come to me when they're first getting their gear and they're like, oh, what size should I get? And they think that 8 ounces and 12 ounces are a difference in the actual size of glove. And I tell them all the time, that has nothing to do with it. The ounces are representing, right? The ounces are representing how much is in front of your knuckle protecting your hand. So if it's an 8-ounce glove, then you have 8 ounces of whatever that is protecting in front of your hand. Once you get to 16, it gets greater, right? So that's really what it is. It's protection for your hand, but it's at the same time, there's only so much you can do if the person's not punching properly, because the punching form,
mm,
again, the greatest protection that you can do to protect your hands. There's people out there who don't wear gloves at all, and they can go out there and punch a bag as hard as they want, and they won't get hurt, right? So
mm,
that just is a
okay.
testament to it all.
I mean, I like the way that you described that because it is a lot of arguments a lot of times in the boxing world where it's like, oh, they, it was 4 ounces, now it's 6 ounces, now they want 8 ounces. Like, it's all this controversy over whether that's still competitive or not when the athletes are choosing to use certain weight sizes. But it doesn't translate into the power that you might feel
Right, right.
when those gloves are hitting you.
It definitely feels, yeah. I mean, when you get hit with an 8-ounce glove as opposed to a 16, yeah, it definitely feels different. But at the same time, your brain is still taking that blow, right? That's why I
Yes.
say, as far as like as far as the gear, especially when we're talking about the glove being more intended to protect the user, because at the end of the day, the person who's receiving that hit is still taking an impact. And I think that's also a big part of what people need to understand with overall striking gear as a whole, right? Because when you're wearing headgear, yes, you are preventing, there is a layer of cushioning there and you do have a layer of protection. But in my opinion, I still don't feel like it's preventing any sort of brain injuries or trauma
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
or long-term
Okay.
abuse.
All right. So if you're the athlete, and you are athlete too, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
Basically, what exactly is it that you would like recommend if you could customize your glove? Is what you recommend, is that something that Hassan would actually make sure that he would put into his actual instant fighting gear?
Where I come in, like when it comes to what I recommend, a lot of the gloves, the certain things that I recommend is changing like of the material, right? And certain
Okay.
patterns, right? I think what we've done a great job over at Instinct so far is haven't been afraid to try new things. And I think that
Okay.
kind of reflects when you look at the line that we carry, right? We have gloves with horsehair. We have gloves with, foam. We have gloves with gel. We have, we've tried it all, so
Okay.
we're not afraid to go out there and see what works for us and what works for everybody, quite frankly, because like I said, that's our main goal, isn't um, to copy anybody, but our main goal is to
Mm-hmm.
just, find our own path as to what we feel is going to be the best for the user.
Okay. Because boxers are not equal in their skill level or their talent or their power or their
Exactly.
quickness. So we can just keep going on and on. So that's why one size basically doesn't fit all, right? That's what you're saying. Like,
Yeah, and it also depends on the type of sparring you're doing, right? If you're going really hard in the gym and you guys are, hitting harder, I'm definitely going to say you need to wear bigger gloves. You know what I mean? Obviously, you're going to want to wear bigger gloves, but then again, I'm of the mindset where you don't have too many wars in the gym, right? You have the wars,
yeah.
in the ring, and you have the
Hmm.
technical chess matches in the gym, So that's another part of protecting and longevity that I feel like a lot of people don't talk about. The American, I think
Absolutely.
the American style is very gritty. There's a lot of wars in the gym. And I
Hmm.
think that, you look at like the Eastern Europeans, other places in the world, they don't quite have the same wars in the gym. Their emphasis is
Hmm.
more on the technical aspect and just really working the basics and getting better at their technique and their footwork and their head movement and all the other things.
You're absolutely right. Because we've found out, through the years now that, a lot of these injuries that are happening fight night actually began with some type of concussion or,
Yep.
issue that happened in the sparring.
Yep.
And then it's like how, you want to train, you want to have this sparring, of course, before you fight. But a lot of times I'm noticing is that don't stop that particular, sparring a
Yep.
week, 2 or 3 weeks beforehand, before the fight. They'll just keep right on going with it. And you're like, wow, I don't know if that's the right decision, dude. You know?
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
Because of what we know now. Like, in other words, as I was saying, when we know better, we're supposed to do better.
Yep.
All right, so I like this particular this is a quote I'm looking on the website, and it says, "A warlord is nothing without a good sword and shield." I love that quote. I mean, can you guys emphasize and just tell us exactly what you mean by that? Because I think I know, but then I'd like for you guys to explain.
Yeah, so I can cover a little bit. So as I think Alex mentioned it really, really beautifully. You also touched on it, Sakura, that the glove when it was, when you see the glove as it was designed in, let's say, the 1900s versus a glove from today's time, it's a really big difference. So when you take a look at, the improvements that we've come with over time, and just about anything, it goes for just about everything you can think of, vehicles, clothing, any sort of manufacturing, we're always improving. So naturally, the gloves that we manufacture here at Instinct, some of the technologies that we use are double IMF foam, which is essentially it's multiple layers, usually two layers at least, of injection molded foam that gets compressed together at the same time in one mold. So what this does is it creates a dense layer of foam, which is usually denser than most other brands of gloves, in the same amount of space. So what that does is create more of a shock absorption from hits, and it
Mm-hmm.
also lets it distribute across your entire body more equally. So you basically, with our glove, you're basically taking in less force into your own body versus another glove. So some of these improvements is what we believe in is like the true just goes with the quote really. You just provide good gear, protects the athlete, and that's what makes a good athlete and a good warrior.
Yes, sir.
I like that. I really like that. And I like the fact that you're talking about scientific concepts of inertia. You know what I'm saying? Like
Absolutely.
whatever force you that's being projected out, that reciprocates back and that energy has to
Absolutely.
be absorbed. So
Yep.
I do kind of like that concept for sure. Now
Display.
the only other
Absolutely.
thing, yeah, anything else to add, Alex, on that?
No. I was just saying displacing energy, like you're saying, right? That's a big part of what we try to do is we displace the energy to protect the user and the sparring partner.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And see, that's my only big scientific word for the day, just to let you know.
I'm gonna add on to that and mention that Alex has already mentioned this as well before when we've talked about it. A lot of the gear, I won't mention
Mhm,
specific brands, but there's certain brands, that you might see they use things like physical hardware on their products, such as if they're using shin guards for the legs, you'll see that they'll have metallic straps or buckles. We seek to
mhm,
kind of move away from objects like those and materials where we know that a lot of force can be potentially impacted on those certain areas and just cause you injuries. I mean, when you look at an athlete and they're going to give you a kick on a shin guard and you're wearing like a metallic buckle that loops it in, a lot of these
mhm,
designs are very cosmetically good looking, but they're very, they carry a lot of potential to hurt as well. So we've slowly moved away from things like this over time as well. So you won't see things like metal buckles or any sort of hardware like that on our coaching gear, on our striking gear. It just helps you keep the athlete even more safe.
okay, I like that. I mean, that is a big problem where, you want to be flashy as an athlete. It's a big thing in boxing for you to have on like that outfit that just pops from the
All right,
gloves to
yeah,
the can, the boots. Everything has got to work together.
You feel
So
good.
sometimes, right, which has nothing at all to do with the actual fight. But I mean, I see some of your gear here, and you're coordinating. I like the way this looks. So it's possible to do both, but like you said, in a respectful way to make sure that you're not causing additional injury that could be avoided.
absolutely, yes.
Okay. So what's up with this signature collection?
So the signature collection that we have, it's what we call the Extreme series. Other ways that we make this specific series, other than reducing the physical hardware and things like that to make it actually safer. Some of the
Mm-hmm.
materials that we use, such as our PU vegan leather, it's just polyurethane vegan leather. It's what we call skin text leather, so it's really safe on your skin. I believe Alex can also attest to this. We also make genuine leather gloves as well, which are naturally safe, but the skin text leather is essentially more suitable because when you're taking things like hits on your actual skin or to the face, these materials ensure that you don't develop things like cuts, rashes, or burns, and it ensures that you're basically staying safe. This goes as well for our fabrics as well, our textiles, so our rash guards,
Yeah.
our gis, our uniforms. It's essentially all skin safe material, so you can actually feel good and you know that you're not causing harm to yourself while having them on you and being used, and you're not causing harm to your partner or anyone else that you're either practicing with, sparring with, coaching with. So it just ensures another layer that, the materials that you're using, let's say, if Alex is using one of our gloves from the Extreme series, he can use it confidently and know that the material of the glove on the face of it is not going to be hurting his opponent or his student, and make sure that his skin is okay. You're not developing rashes or burns, and that's just another extra layer of protection that we ensure that we make sure we cover that as well.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna mention any names, but there are certain gloves that can like really kill someone's skin on their face. Like, like I know the names. I'm not gonna say them, but I understand exactly what you mean. Now, some athletes they like to see that occurring or what have you, but the point you made too is that it's not necessary, especially inside of like training, like as gym, where you just you're just teaching techniques and what to do, and you don't need to be busting up someone's face, basically. And so that is good. And plus, vegan is better for the environment, guys. Come on now, leave these animals
Absolutely, yeah.
alone.
The future. The future.
Yes. I mean, I have my vegan leather purse and everybody compliments me on it and they think it's genuine because it feels just like it. So, I mean, I can just imagine if the product you have is similar to that, then, it's soft feeling and it's not this type of damage that some are basically having to deal with at a gym.
Mhm.
Absolutely. So we're seeking to shift more and more over time into recyclable and recycled materials as well. So that includes, the
Okay.
vegan leather. Sometimes, in certain brands, they're able to incorporate that pretty well. For us, we've incorporated it to such an extent where you might not even know the difference between a genuine leather glove and a vegan leather glove just by looking at it. So
What? Okay.
we're able to make it look just about 99.9% the same. We're even able to make it feel the same as well. And we obviously know, it's much better for the environment. We know it's a great material for your skin, for beginners, for athletes, for coaches. It's just been fantastic to use over time. Cactus leather is also something that we're developing and working with right now. So we're going to be pushing that into development a little bit more as well. And there's certain other, technologies that we're seeming to bring in with new materials as well. So it's a great blend between materials and technology that we're fusing together to make sure, it's good for the environment. It's good for our athletes and our clients as well.
All right. I like the way that sounds. I didn't realize we were actually getting questions. So one of the viewers, Chuck Metzer, which is a legendary retired photographer for boxing, he says, so what you're saying, your gloves that will lessen cuts over eyes and foreheads, is that what you're saying?
Absolutely. It's Chuck, yeah, your question actually reminds me of another product that we used to have, but now we've shifted over and improved that as well. Is I think Alex will probably know as well. It's one of our bag gloves. Now, the bag glove is essentially it's a training glove. It's not meant to be used against another opponent or meant to make contact with someone else's skin. That specific product, now the way we designed it was that we had ventilation holes all across the fist area, and because of that sort of design, we had to take a layer of our PU material, and it was stitched across the front face. So essentially, you would have stitching that would go directly in the front here, and we had an incident or two where that exact like product was being used on the face, and because of the way that product was designed and stitched, it was actually causing injuries. So, it's because of feedback like that, where it's actually being put into use and put into effect as it was designed to, is where we can actually improve. So, because of feedback like that, is how we know that glove was basically designed in a way where it could be much better improved and make sure that it doesn't result in injuries. So yes, Chuck, yeah, we do work on materials and glove designs where we are constantly changing them and ensuring them over time and over multiple feedback that we can definitely improve and make sure that our gloves don't essentially cut you.
Hmm. Okay. And then we have Coach Louie. Coach Louie, his question is, let's see, not everybody can wrap hands. So how do we avoid having to pay someone to wrap someone's hands when a coach is not that talented to do it themselves? What coach? Come
Hey,
on, beat up on the coach.
hey, that's actually a great question. I've been backstage many times where coaches don't know how to wrap hands. And like you said, you get put in that situation where you are scrambling to get your fighter
Mhm.
someone who can wrap hands. And the number one thing that I'm going to say is, especially if you're going to be a coach and you really are going to be out there doing it, you have to take the time to learn how to do it. So you got to find the person who knows how to do it, and you got to ask them, hey, teach me, I'll pay you to learn, whatever it is. And then you learn, because that's a role that you have to fill. So you can't just count yourself out when the time comes. You have to step
Right.
up. You got to practice over and over and over again until you get good at it.
Okay. And then he said, and also, we when they're casting hands for a match and doing something underhanded to hurt the other opponent. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I know what he's saying. We've had incidents as with boxing in particular where, some unethical things were being done while hand wrapping was supposed to, be your traditional way of hand wrapping.
Right,
So maybe that would avoid that too if you can learn how to do your own
right.
hand wraps and stuff.
Um, and also, yeah. So the one thing is, at least when you're at the competitive level, every time I've ever been around, there's always a witness to finish off the hands, and he'll mark your fighter, with an X on the wrist, meaning that he watched the process being done, and it's approved. So at any show, that knows what they're doing, you should have that process being done so that you can be sure that none of that funny stuff is being done, and that your fighter is not being put in a situation where someone is doing something underhanded that could possibly seriously hurt your fighter.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Correct. Yes, that's our boxing commission, and they do have the attendees that are supposed to be in each locker room, and also a trainer or someone from your team is supposed to go to that opponent's area and
Yeah,
watch the gloves being wrapped now too. But
yeah.
somehow, some things still end up happening or still are said to happen. So I
If
get
you
what
know
he's
the fight game, it's a funny world, man. There's always some weird stuff going on in the fight world.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I just always felt like if you have to resort to things like that, should you really be boxing? Like, should you
Right,
really be a boxer if you need to resort to some of these tactics?
right.
When the sport is, it's supposed to be a pure, I don't want to say machismo, but I mean, you gotta believe in yourself, even
Hmm.
if you get hurt later. It's like that ego has to be high. So it's just kind of weird to see people still
Absolutely. Yeah.
trying to come up with, ways to cheat. But
Yeah.
referee Christopher Young, he says those gloves would be great for exhibitions. Okay. Which gloves are we talking about, Chris? Because I don't know if he's talking about the vegan leather gloves or what. I have to see which one he's talking about. But
But
in the
Yeah.
meantime,
I
oh, go
think I
ahead.
get where he's going with the whole
Hmm.
thing, right? Because when you have people who are newer and they don't have quite the punching form and the instincts yet, to do be sharp in the ring, you see a lot of amateurs, just basically look like brawls, and people are throwing
Mm-hmm.
punches crazy, and there's a lot of things that can happen. So it's definitely good to have proper equipment at the amateur level. It's probably what he's saying is quality equipment is most important at the amateur level.
Okay. And so, do you guys have headgear as well
Yes, so we do
for
headgear as
amateurs?
well. Absolutely.
Okay.
For amateurs, for beginners, for professionals. Uh, our technology for the IMF foam is pretty much consistent across our entire lineup, and this goes for the headgear as well. So at minimum with us, what you're getting is 2 layers of that IMF foam that's converted together at one mold. It comes with
Mm-hmm.
another layer of what we call EVA foam, which basically holds all of that in together. And me and Alex are actually working on a bit of development here where we're getting our IMF foam being generated together and fused together with a singular layer of gel that we're seeing in gloves. And it's basically essentially going to be a sandwich of these materials to help you reduce even further the injuries that you can result in when you're fighting or sparring to your head. So we are seeing a mix between 2 layers of foam and a layer of gel that's in between. So you're essentially getting three, well padded, dense layers of protection.
Right.
And then
Okay. I'm impressed. I'm very impressed with that technology.
the dense foam layers obviously for the protection of the knuckles and obviously the protection of the opponent's head. But then on top of that, like you said, that gel in between is very good for the displacement, right? So that
Absolutely.
yeah, so that we're basically taking that small surface area in which you're getting hit usually, and a small area of trauma, and that gel is going to kind of displace that before it even hits the person's head. So that's kind of the goal. I know it sounds crazy, but like we were talking about displacing energy, that's kind of the idea behind that.
Absolutely. Tell your family we said hi.
Yeah,
I'm
they
sorry.
just got no, they just got back from science, from their little science day. She's walking my son. He's asleep. She's just walking him into his room to put him away.
Yeah, like that must have been a rough day for him. He had him some fun.
Oh yeah.
And I heard the family dog too. It's like saying hey to him. That's pretty cool. I was looking at some of these prices here, and they don't seem unreasonable. Hassan, like
Yes.
what are the price ranges?
So we all understand and know that the market is very competitive. We have several brands that we personally compete with. We know that there's a lot of them in the industry that we are up against. We understand this,
Okay.
and that's why what we're doing is making a niche for ourselves where we're doing our best to develop our own kind of name, our own character, our own personality within the sport world.
Mm-hmm.
And which is why some of the prices that we have are priced the way they are because they're reasonable. I personally believe that everyone has a right who wants to get into sports and combat sports specifically. They should have uh, the availability to have gear at an affordable price where anyone who's interested, it could be you. If you're interested, I believe you deserve to have the right to be able to purchase gear that's affordable, that's quality, that will be able to keep you safe, make sure you look good while you perform, and inspire you to actually just continue and do better.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and I see the hand wrap is available, Coach Louis. They have their own brand of hand wrapping, and it starts at 6.95. So that's pretty reasonable, I'd say. Like
Absolutely.
that's
Hmm.
that's
Yeah.
that's pretty good. And let's see, Chuck is asking, do you guys sponsor teams or uh if they need equipment, especially if they're a 501(c)(3). I know a lot of the other brands do some type of outreach. Do you guys have outreach in particular that maybe filters through Alex's gym?
Yes, absolutely. So usually directly it goes through me. So we're always at Instinct, we're always looking for new sponsors, new representatives, new athletes, and we love creating our own sponsorship programs as well. So we can always create new opportunities for anyone who's interested. Doesn't matter if they're part of an organization or a school, individual athlete. Uh, because we are still new in the industry, so we definitely do like getting involved with sponsoring athletes and even clubs and gyms and schools, basically anyone. All they have to
Hmm.
do is contact us directly, and we're definitely going to be able to provide them some sort of opportunity to represent them and give them a chance to represent us as well.
Right. I mean, and I love that. I mean, I know that the WBA convention, as I mentioned earlier, and you had your gear on display and you were selling some, and then, just basically telling us all that wanted to find out more information about your product. And of course, if you do like what you hear about this particular product and the advancements that Hassan is uh, creating here, you can go to www.instinctboxinggear.com. And also, I'm sure your contact information is on there as well. And
Absolutely. So that's the link.
all right. So, of course, Hassan, I'm hoping that I see you at the Florida Boxing Hall of Fame weekend here in June coming up. I believe it's the 20th through the 22nd, here in St. Petersburg, where I actually reside. So I'm hoping that maybe we can, get you here in time enough for our children's outreach. We're calling it Future Youth Champions. So we're going to be doing some training there at a local gym with some students that are not, that may not know about boxing or are not influenced by boxing. We want to try to get some new fresh blood into the sport, and get them excited about the sport. So we're going to have that Friday on the 20th. And then we're going to have the actual Hall of Fame activities beginning that evening, Friday evening, be our cocktail hour and a little partying. And my
Hmm.
fiance Emilio, he's ready to party at all times. So
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
yeah, cocktail hour is one of his favorites. And then Saturday we have a gala dinner that evening, but during the day it's an expo. And we're having like a documentary shown that has been able to get influenced globally as a documentary about boxing and how it can help assist in different issues that a kid might be having or an adult might be having, along with if somebody's just trying to lose weight or, want to be healthier. There are also other benefits that take place. And this documentary is going to be shown at the actual Hall of Fame too during the day. So that's Saturday. And then Sunday is the actual induction ceremony. We're going this year. We have people like Juan Laporte being inducted, and this is when they get all that shiny bling bling, the rings.
Good for them.
And yes, and then of course some of our former, well, not our former, but our actual Hall of Fame already inductees that are Hall of Famers. They also are, just participating the entire weekend. So hopefully we can work out something where you can be here to participate and show off some of your gear and basically actually show just how advanced this technology is. So I'll be looking forward
Absolutely.
to seeing some of that
Absolutely.
information.
I'll hope to see you there. Yeah, I'll be hopefully I'll be there, be able to showcase some of the newer things that we are working on in 2025, including some of our newer collections. So it sounds like a great program. I hope to see you there.
Oh yeah, I volunteer a lot of time to that organization because it means a lot to me that, after you might have dedicated 20 plus years of your life to a sport, everybody's not getting the accolades or just getting that acknowledgement that, what you did meant something to other people. And this is that Hall of Fame is a great way that to be able to acknowledge people that might not have gotten as much glory or attention while they were, more active. And nowadays, some of the athletes are returning back to the sport for exhibitions and different things like that, or are always active in some part by training others. Alex, is opportunity for you to be able to come in and speak to our youth too, and let them know about your program and how your career led you to end up, having your own gym and working with other athletes too. So, think about it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, guys, I'm going to let you go. I appreciate you so much. Oh, wait a minute. I might have some other comments here I can go to right quick. Of course, we got somebody trying to do their own thing here, but can you ask for me question? Oh, can you give me your contacts? I work with Escott, which is that's Emmanuel Stewart's gym nonprofit that they have in Detroit. And he's in, which is also a 503c, and it's a part of the Crunk Gym that they have now. So that's two of them. So
Nice.
maybe he doesn't want to give out his contact information directly on here, but I'll make sure you get the information, Chuck.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just feel free to contact me. I'll go ahead and get everything taken care of. Yeah, we'd love to be part of that.
Okay, awesome. So basically, let's go ahead and wrap up. You guys can say any additional words you want, and then I'll let you go here.
Yeah, awesome. Sakura, thank you so much for having us. It was a great experience at the WBA, especially being my first time. I really do think we could always use more representation for combat sports, boxing in general within the industry. I think it's just, and especially for fighter safety, there's always so much more that we can do. We're doing our best on our part as an individual brand to ensure that we do our best to keep athletes safe, uh, keep our youth safe. Our youth are also a main focus of some of our brands and the products that we work with. So we make sure that the youth are also taken care of. So I think there's just a big reason to improve even further and to reach out, to the community in general, so that we can just improve over time even quicker. So we can make sure that boxing is actually safe and effective and stays that way.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's an amazing thing to have people thinking in an advanced way about the sport. We got some of our
Absolutely.
diehards that be like, oh, I mean, they agree to, any injuries they might get when they become a boxer. They know the risk and this and that, but it's like, but no, we can still prevent things from happening as much as possible. Why wouldn't we? If the technology is there. So I definitely appreciate a company like yours being, coming into the industry that allows for this question of what else could we be doing, as a part of your product development. So thank you both. Alex, you got anything?
It was great chatting with you guys today. It was good talking about fighter safety. If you guys want, you guys can follow me at the Centurion, Alexander the Centurion, the Centurion Alexander on Instagram, and you can also follow our gym and our brand, which is Wildcat Boxing Club. So yeah, awesome.
Wildcats, I like it.
Thank you.
Where exactly is this now? In California?
Well,
or is it Vegas?
This is we are going to be coming out of Los Gatos, California. So yeah.
Where's that close? I haven't heard of that city.
You never heard of Los Gatos?
No, I'm from Florida.
Okay. I feel it.
I mean, I heard of Oxnard, Las Vegas, Los Angeles.
Now you gotta check out Los Gatos. We're here to put Los Gatos on the map today.
Just like that. I mean, hey, why not? I can visit.
Come on down. We got some good stuff over here for you to check out.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much for your time today. and that is instinctfightinggear.com. Thank you so much, Hassan and Alexander, for,
Thank you guys.
I don't want to say Alex, for
Thank you
joining
guys.
us
Thank you so
today.
much.
All right, take care, and we are out, baby. Welcome to the house.
Welcome to the house, the one they talking about. Word of mouth, the Boxing Playhouse, without a doubt. All the latest and greatest boxing news, that's what it's all about.